Hey guys, my name is ALRT and today we'll be learning how to make bass house. Let's go! So what is bass house? A subgenre of house ranging in between 124 BPM to 135 BPM. It's set apart by its energetic bass lines and fast-changing rhythms, influenced heavily from the 90s house scene, UK house, and especially the UK garage scene. Notable artists are JAUZ, JOYRYDE, HABSTRAKT, Valentino Khan, and many more. Today we are going to learn how to make it ourselves. Okay, so today we are going to go step by step on how to create a bass house track, starting with the drum section, going over to the bass lines and how to make the preset and everything we need to do. First thing first, we're gonna start working on the drum section. The drum section of bass house is pretty simple. You got the kick, you got the clap, you got the open hats, closed hats, and some percussions. Pretty much same thing you would expect from a regular house track. So let's go over and start with the kick. Some one shots, kicks. I like this one. Put it on 0. As I mentioned, 4 on the floor, and we'll do a bunch of them like that. And this is our kick. Let's go over to the next section, which will be the clap. The same pack, and try to do that. Okay, so we have a cool clap already here. One thing I want to mention about the kick and the clap together. Basically, when the kick and the clap meet, some frequencies are masking each other. And that's because just the top of the kick has some of those same frequencies the clap has. So I'm going to show you now a cool way to make sure nothing is masking. And let's go over and see it right now. So back to Ableton here. We have the clap sitting on every second beat. So pretty simple, right? And now to get rid of that masking issue, we're gonna take every kick that touches the clap, we're gonna shelf the highs out of it a little bit to make room for that clap. So looking at this here, I would take every second kick, basically every kick that touches the clap, and EQ out the highs. Right, so EQ 8, throw it in there, and just shelf down the highs, right? So now it will be very unnoticeable, but when you play it, you clearly, without a clap, you'll clearly hear that the second kick has not enough highs, right? So when the clap touches it, it pretty much completes those highs that are now essentially missing from the kick. Right, perfect. So now we have the kick and the clap. Going over to the open hi-hat. Going to my pack here. Claps, open hat. Very noticeable in this genre because of the heavy influence from the UK house. They used to use a lot of that 909 drum kit. We're going to use something very similar to that. Already we have something going here, but of course we need to add a little bit more groove to it. So we're going to use some percussions and take a snare actually. Something like that. This is a very common groove in bass. And now we can kind of move it off grid a little bit, so it's kind of shuffled, right? So right now we have our groove. Let's move on to making the bass lines. Now guys, I know personally how hard it is to find a good kick sometimes, or a good clap, or a good hat. If you like the drums I've used till now, you're in luck, because I made a new sample pack called Drums. It's a part of my bigger sample pack that's called Indigo Production Suite, and more info will be available in the description, so check it out. So now that we have the drum section ready, we want to move on to the bass section. Now that's the most fun of the track for me, at least. So let's get into it and see what is bass number 1. Okay, so what do we have here? The sub is going directly out, so it's not going for any of the modulators or the effect. On -2, level all the way up, it's the sinus wave. And we're going for the oscillator A. This actually gives it that grittiness where we like. It's basic shapes, and then the wavetable is just above the middle. I use the sync here, sync no window. It's just a little bit above 12, so 3.9%. Unison on 3, detune on 0.04, blend on 75, phase in the middle, randomness all the way up, and -2 in the octave. So right now we are getting pretty much this. Not much movement to it. We want to be able to move it a little bit. I've added the oscillator B with the acid waveform, -1 on octaves, semitone +7, FM from A almost all the way up at 86%, phase in the middle, level all the way down, but we got LFO2 modulating it in this way. Of course you can play with this as much as you want. We want to add some kind of movement to it, so I've added this to the preset. So together we right now have that. I've added the filter. Let's look at the filter. This is without, just not enough movement yet for me. We want to have some kind of movement in the sound like I mentioned before. The filter is on MG low 24, affecting just oscillator A. LFO2 is modulating the cutoff, starts on 89, goes all the way up to about 40 here. So now you get this kind of movement, vroom, vroom, vroom. And on FX we have distortion driving about 55%. The EQ lows are shelved a little bit down at 295 and down, gaining it down -10% with a Q of 60%. So that's pretty much it for this sound. So now that we have bassline 1 on check and we saw the preset, let's move on to bassline number 2. As I mentioned before, this genre is really all about the bass hook, and now we want something to complement the first bass hook. It was a lot of high end to it, as though I was thinking for the second bass we want to have something different set of frequencies. So let's check it out. Let's hear bassline number 2. As you can see, this bassline is very mono. That's because the other bassline is so open. We want to give some kind of dynamics to the bassline, so it's not always the same sound or the same frequency range. So we have a different frequency range for this. Let me show you how I did this one. Same thing goes for this as the other one. Sub directly out, level on 43, -3. And the LFO1 is affecting the level. So pretty much starting from low level and going up all the way up. This is how it sounds like that. Now let's add oscillator A. Oscillator A is an analog BD sinus. Not much happening when we add it because we need the oscillator B to affect it. So oscillator 1 is on BD sinus, -3, 1 on the unison, level on about -7.9 dB, wavetable position on 35, phase in the middle. Now FM from B is affecting from the beginning, like from 0 till 50, using LFO1 as the modulator. Okay, this is how it sounds. Now let's add oscillator B. It's on -1, same wavetable in the analog BD sinus, no unison. Wavetable is moved to 178. Level is pretty much on 0 because I'm just using it and it's an FM from B, so I'm not actually using the sound of it, but it's FMing the first oscillator. Okay, so once I add that, let's do it without the filter. This is how it sounds without the filter. Now let's go over and see what is the filter doing right here. MG low 24, same thing as the last preset, affecting only oscillator A. It's not actually affecting the noise because it's not on, so no need for that. The cutoff is on 74 Hz, going up till about 2 p.m, modulated by LFO1. The same modulation goes for everything here because I want to get the same kind of movement from all the things I'm modulating, right? So drive has been modulated also from 5% and till about 8. Fat is modulated as well from about 29% and until about 2. So we're getting that. Mix all the way up, by the way. Pan in the middle, and resonance, which is really important, is in 50%. So right now we're getting that. On the FX we have the compressor gained a little bit, 6.3 dB. The delay is to your liking. If you want some delay, right now it's not being used. EQ, just cut down a little bit the lows and pushed up a little bit the highs. So in 210 and down we have a low cut, and then from 2000 Hertz with a 60% Q we have a 5.9 dB gaining, just to kind of push a little bit the highs, which barely exist. Reverb also again to your liking. Just a tiny little touch. See how it sounds with a lot. Just a tiny. We want to have some kind of spacing for it. Hyper dimension. Same thing for your liking. I liked it more mono a little bit, just because you want to contrast the other bassline, which is very open. Okay, so right now let's check it out. Just this bassline by itself. Okay, so you like those presets we just worked on? I have some good news for you guys, because all these presets plus many more tailored to bass house and tech house will be available in my new pack called Blocks, which is also a part of my big pack that's called Indigo Production Suite. Go check it out in the description. Okay guys, now we got the two basses going, the drum section, everything. We can listen to everything together. Let's check it out. So this is the end of the tutorial for today. I hope I could help you learn something about this genre, bass house. I love it very much and I think it's super fun to produce. So in November 1st I'm dropping my biggest sample pack to date. It's crazy. Inside this sample pack you pretty much get 8 sample packs in the price of 1. It's called Indigo Production Suite, and inside you'll find 8 packs: drums, construct, inspo, crate diggers, street, tools, blocks, and the main suite, which is the Indigo suite. On top of that, I'm also giving out bonuses and stuff. Go check out the link in my description here, check all the previews, and even download the beta version for free. Thank you very much for watching guys. Till next time, peace out.